In this video, we're going to talk about different types of long-term memory. So by the end of the video, you should be able to describe and distinguish between procedural and declarative memory and semantic and episodic memories. So just to refresh our memories from the last video, we were talking about these three different stages or boxes of memory. Sensory memory, where all the input from our sensory systems comes in, and then we attend to that. It gets into our short-term memory where we rehearse that information. If we rehearse it well enough and encode that information, it will get into long-term memory. And long-term memory is the system involved in the storage of long-term information. Theoretically, it's infinite. The information stays there for an indefinite period of time. And so now we're going to talk about the different types of long-term memory. So first we're going to break it up into two basic types, and then we'll distinguish even further. So one type of long-term memory is implicit memory. So implicit memory is things that influence us that we're not really aware of. Think of it as unconscious or automatic memories. So things that you've done so many times, they just become automatic. You don't have to think about it or actively really retrieve that information into consciousness in order to complete the task at hand. Procedural memories are what we're going to talk about today, and those are one type of implicit memories. Keep in mind there are other types of implicit memories. We just don't have the time to cover those in this class. Explicit memory, on the other hand, is deliberate recall of information. This is really what we think about when we think about memory typically. It's that conscious, intentional recollection of memory. So again, we're going to have these terms implicit and explicit come up a lot now between now and the end of the semester. So when you think implicit, think something that's unconscious, you're unaware of. Explicit, something that's intentional, something you're conscious or aware of. And explicit memories that we're going to talk about today are going to be our declarative memories. So again, going from implicit and explicit to the distinctions of different types of long-term memory, we have our procedural memories, and that's going to be an action or skill. So procedural memories are how we do something, how to do something. And you recall, how to ride a bike, how to ski, how to drive a car. Declarative memory, on the other hand, is declaring that you know something. And those can be further broken up into semantic memories, which are rules, facts, concepts. So a rule, knowing that you need to stop at a stop sign. A fact, knowing that a dog has a tail and barks. A concept, I guess that could be your concept as well. A fact might be knowing, so the dog example would be more of a concept. A fact might be more that George Washington was the first president of the United States, or that Donald Trump is running for president in 2024 against Kamala Harris. An episodic memory is where you declare that you know something about your own personal experiences. So think of it as a personal episode in your life. Like an episode on TV is an episode of your life. Things that you've done, personal experiences. While procedural memories are implicit, think about it, we're not aware of it. So you learn how to ride a bike. Then once you know how to do that, you don't have to think about all the things like pedaling, keeping your balance, steering the wheels. You don't think about all those things while you're actually doing it. You just get on and you do it. Declarative memories are explicit. You're aware that you're recalling the information. You're aware that you know the rule. You're aware that you know the fact. You're aware that you know the concept. You're aware of your personal experiences, what you did last weekend, what you did for your 16th birthday, your first date with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Those personal experiences you're all aware of, and you can recall those consciously, intentionally. So here are just some more examples for you, some visual examples. So we're going to use the riding the bike example, because if you think about it, it's not something that just comes naturally, right? Little kids start on tricycles, and actually sometimes with just mom and dad pushing them around on the tricycle. Then they figure out how to get their feet to move those pedals around and around. And it's on three wheels, so they don't have to worry about any balance. And once they get those pedals moving around, then they have to figure out how to steer that tricycle or big wheel or whatever it is. Then you move up into a bike with training wheels. So now you're pedaling, you're steering, and you're trying to learn about your balance. And then eventually, hopefully, you go into two wheels. But once you have all that down, you don't have to think about it. You just hop on a bike and you ride, right? So an example of a semantic memory might be facts about birds. You have a concept of what a bird is, but you also might have facts about, certain things about, X, Y, and Z birds. Or facts might be something that you learned in class. What's the definition of classical conditioning? What's the definition of a semantic category? Personal experiences, your wedding day, something that you've personally experienced. Here's an example of a trip that my family took to Morro Bay. Those are my 3 kids. It was probably, about 5 or more years ago, but it was a great memory. And an example of an episodic memory. So what I want you to do is think about your own procedural memories and semantic memories and episodic memories. So again, we learned that associating these new terms with personal experiences is going to help you learn them. So I want you to try to come up with your own examples so that you can then have those to help you remember what these different types of memories are. And again, remembering that procedural memories are implicit and declarative memories are explicit.